The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking podcast containing information, subject matter, language, and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. And this podcast is not red versus blue. It's me and you. If you have any questions, comment, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we get into the Montauk conspiracy. Yes, the inspiration for the awful television show Stranger Things. The Montauk conspiracy took place at Camp Hero in New York State and is an absolutely beautifully divisive chapter in the American government's history. We also provide you with a brand new top 5, an all-new Annihilation Announcement, joke of the episode, and more. So without further ado, dear listener, you know what to do. Grab your coffee, grab your blanket, put your feet up. Let us teach you how to cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Over the course of time, governments have tried to pull the wool over their citizens' eyes through various rotating means of chaos, confusion, and calamity. Understand, dear listener, that it is not the role of the government to be playing Papa and Mama to your mind. Absolutely not. It is the role of the government to control the countries in which they are situated over, to create bureaucratic red tape for those of us in whom are experiencing hardships to go through. However, understand this, dear listener, the Montauk conspiracy is a lot more than just a conspiracy. It is a frame of mind, a frame of reference, exotic time travel, crazy delusional people talking about the situations that never existed. This is only but a sheer drop in the pan. Remember, this is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this has been your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag und gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisende und deine Ausländer und deine Allesfresser. Today, we divulge details pertaining to the Montauk conspiracy and the Montauk Project. For most of you may be aware of the absolutely god-awful, trash, just ridiculously horrible and lame show Stranger Things. What you may not know is that Stranger Things was actually entitled Montauk for the first several months of its production, as that was its working title. The reason for this is because the Montauk Project is the main crux and or the main basis of Stranger Things, although they never directly allude to it specifically. The Montauk Project was highly popularized by the United States government and the United States military in the early 1980s to take on various types of designs, campaigns, attempts at secret and covert operations, including but not limited to time travel, mind switching, mind control, and that of interfering with the well-being of animals as well. The Montauk Project is widely considered to be one of the most divisive and one of the most unnecessary campaigns to have ever been invoked and put into place by the United States government and by the United States military, having taken place during the 1980s, during a time to where civil unrest was fairly okay due to Ronald Reagan being the president at the time, a man who was fully inside of his faculties for only the first year. And then every year thereafter, he was just a man reading a script. He could definitely read a script, but could he tell you what year it was past 1983 or 1984? Absolutely not, man. Ronald Reagan was messed up in the 80s, and a lot of people are aware of that. But getting on to the basis and the crux of this episode, the Montauk Project. The Montauk Project was carried out by the United States government and the United States military in the early 1980s. The primary purposes of the Montauk Project, officially, were to create new systems and development in order to further assist in infrastructure development and reconstruction. However, there have been a wide number of people in whom claim to have worked at the Montauk facility at Camp Hero in New York State who swear by their little hairs on their chins that these experiments of the most debaucherous kind took place. Whether we're talking about time travel, whether we're talking about clairvoyance or remote viewing, the United States government was interested in all of it. For at the same time that MK Ultra was reaching its steady downfall, the Montauk Project was well underway in covert affairs. Throughout the 1980s, there were numerous instances of very contaminated sources of water, things in the area, animals not behaving and reacting as they should, completely radiated animals and wildlife throughout the about 50 to 75 mile radius from the plant. There were very many concerns as it pertained to the health and to the long life that a human in whom was consuming the same water from around that area would have. If these types of covert operations were going on and no one had any idea directly exactly what was taking place, then it is in that time that you have to look at yourself and understand that, hey, wait a minute, man, the governments aren't here to help me. The governments are just lying to me. They're trying to control me. They're trying to tell me what to do, man. I don't know what to do. Well, yeah, that's what governments are for. And when you take into account what the Montauk Project held for the United States government and the vested interest that it had, let's say hypothetically they were able to confirm specifically and directly that you can time travel and that you can teleport from location to location, what would that have meant for the rest of the world? Odds are it would have meant next to nothing, because that type of information would have been kept under a Coca-Cola secret recipe bottling vault level security. And it is in those times that you got to realize and understand that, hey, all these conspiracies and all these crazy things that happen in and around the area around that time and between the 1980s and 1990s, the whole fish growing an extra eye, the Gila monsters and all the other reptiles around the area just not being able to react positively and being all messed up. It's during these times that you understand that, hey, wait a minute, there's something funky going on here. And the Montauk Project, for all of its attempts, did absolutely nothing to assist the United States government in any of what it was trying to do. It shut down in the mid-1990s and still is technically rumored to be going on in some covert level today, but obviously it's not up to the same level, as there are no internal documents which state specifically and or emphatically what type of work that they are performing. We see the Stranger Things TV show and we think, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. What is the upside down? In reality, you got to understand it like this. The whole notion and or idea of Montauk is far scarier than any television show that you could ever see. The notions behind the Montauk Project and what it would have meant if there was success would have meant horror for the citizens of the United States of America. So, in a way, we could be grateful that it didn't succeed. But what is the reason why people cannot agree on what transpired? There are a litany of reasons, dear listener. Many of which are included but not limited to the understanding of the design of which government red tape is created. And you yourself, you can go on any form of internet right now and find out all about the Montauk Conspiracy and the Montauk Project, and we highly encourage you to do so. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourself and each other. At the top of the program, we promised you a top 5 list. So because we are touching on the Montauk Conspiracy today, we're going to give you a top 5 list of our favorite reptiles. Coming in at number 5, the bearded lizard. Coming in at number 4, we have the anaconda snake. Coming in at number 3, we have the Gila monster. Coming in at number 2, we have the beautiful, the bold, the rattlesnake. And coming in at number 1, we have the Komodo dragon. What is your top 5 favorite list of reptiles? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. Back when your boy, the Cleric, was working as an executive assistant in an office, occasionally the boss would ask him, how how was your day going? How are things? I'd be like, yeah, not too bad. Sorry, it's a day. I've got some things to do. And he would tell me to have a good day. So then I just went home. Taken from the fact that the Montauk project is also a very, very strong tie-in to the garbage program that is Stranger Things, the Montauk Project is absolutely, unequivocally one of the most horrific experiments conducted by the United States government to have ever reached the public airwaves. Understand this, dear listener, that the Montauk Project was not necessarily just a flash in the pan. Absolutely not. No, the whole point of it was to create a systemic pattern that would follow for years and years and decades. But alas, the United States government failed, and they chose to not reveal the reasons and the overall calamity, and which was the aftermath of Montauk. Remember, this is only but a microcosm in the United States conspiracy theories, and remember that you can figure it out as well. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourself and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nach dem Leben, CRDVC, Chaos Storm Records, and CR Deutschland. If you would like to support the program, you may do so at the links in the episode's description. And please remember to follow the program at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath and twitter.com/Cleric of Chaos. If you would like to book a meeting for a music lesson or an upcoming business or artistic endeavor, you may do so at linktr.ee/Cleric of Chaos, where there are different price tiers available. If you would like to follow our friends, consultants, and producers of the program, you may do so at the links in the episode's description as well. If you are experiencing psychiatric duress, call 1-800-273-8255 or dial 988 from your mobile phone in the US or Canada. And if you're experiencing domestic violence, call 1-800-799-7233. If you're looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Remember, as time goes on and as we all age, we understand a little bit more about the world, but we also seem to fall away a little bit when it comes to our own inhibitions. Remember, do what you can and fight your hardest. Remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.